Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I am here tonight with my regular co-host, DA Talks, and the ever-fabulous Tim Lim and Mark Pellegrini.
Hey, yo.
What's
Hi.
up?
Hey.
Yeah, just for you guys.
That damn recording of Dean. I can't believe he pre-recorded himself and left it here.
Also, we could start on time. It was so thoughtful of him.
No, he was just trying to get out of this, like the end of Speed, where they have to loop the recording around. Oh no, if we stream any slower than 50 miles per hour, the computer will explode.
So very exciting. I am so happy for you guys and how well your crowdfund is going. It is.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is now right now at $77,201 with 1,868 backers. That's just awesome.
It's one of those things where I know that some people they look at the numbers as far as the money earned and the backer numbers go, but we're just very thankful and very humbled that people like our work and that they are supporting us, because obviously there's a lot of people who are coming back because they've committed to it so far, but we do have quite a handful of new readers as well, so hopefully we can win them over in the long haul.
That's the gratifying thing, is when complete strangers enjoy your work. Like, I don't know 1,800 different people on the face of this planet, so I know that a lot of them can't all be like my dad, my stepmom, my brother buying copies of the book. So there are complete strangers out there buying the book and enjoying it, and then buying the follow-up volumes. So that means a lot to us. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I was kind of surprised, I guess, by your guys' choice to go with hardcover, which is cool. But what made you guys decide to do that?
Two reasons. One is that, so I know Doug Tenaple has talked about it. I've talked about it with him occasionally when we've been on stream together. But I spent some time in Europe, probably for about 3 years off and on. And especially in France, one thing I noticed was that the way that they treat the physical print medium was a little bit different than how we treat it. So if I wanted to get like a graphic novel or a trade paperback over there, they almost never came in a square bound format. They all came in hardcover. And just talking to some of the people there who are my age, they just said, well, it's just how we treat the print medium. It's just, you're spending money on a book, you might as well get the best presentation you can. And that's something that, again, in these conversations that Doug Tenaple and I have had and that he's had with his own crowd, it's the idea that as the comic book market in the West is kind of going through a flux right now, it has an identity crisis. It can't seem to figure out what is going on and why comic sales are languishing when the sales of like manga are increasing. I think that what is happening is that some of us are looking at those models, the European and the Japanese models, to see what we can do to kind of improve ourselves. We had an opportunity to negotiate our rates for hardcover, and we got a very, very competitive rate for it, such to the point where, even though it is a bit of a financial risk, it's one that we're willing to take, because we feel like if we can offer the same quality story, but in a better quality product at the same price without putting that cost onto the consumers, we feel that we can not necessarily revolutionize, but we can think differently in terms of how we market ourselves and how we can offer something that's very competitive, not only in terms of the overall presentation, but also in terms of the price. Because again, we're not charging anyone extra for this, even though there is a very small price increase per book to us. So it's a bit of a risk, but we think it's going to pay off when people see it, and hopefully they'll like it. I do have some people who, again, this is kind of new to me too, but I had some people saying, can I just get the soft cover? And just out of curiosity, I'm like, oh, why? Because you're getting the same book, it's just a better quality. And they say, well, I want the spines to match on the bookshelf. And I just thought, okay, that's a very physical way of looking at it. And unfortunately, no, we can't, because that's another cost expense that we'd have to do. But we do offer 1 and 2 in a hardcover format. So if people want to get the matching spines, they can get the previous 2 volumes. But at least for the foreseeable future, we're going to stick with hardcover. Hopefully it'll work. I don't claim to be the best businessman in the world, and knock on wood, it works, because if not, we might have to step it down in the future. But for now, it's something I'm willing to bet on.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good bet, and based at least on how well the the Kickstarter is going. People seem to like it.
I'm
a
now I
bibliophile.
just realized that I'm gonna need to get the hardcover versions of 1 and 2.
So the spines can match. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how
Yeah.
Dean's library is. All the spines match.
Dean has no library
That's
except
a
for
joke.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
My library consists of your comics.
Honestly.
That is quite the honor when it's like, well, what books do you read? I don't read, but I read Tim Lim's books. They're up there.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you put Dean in them. He sort of like feels he has to. But
He's going to
likes
be
them.
in them not once, but twice.
I
What?
know. What? Yeah. But I think it's great. I like hardcovers. I like books, period. And I like quality books, and I like the feel of them in my hand, and I like holding them and just flipping through the pages, and this, like, I don't know, it's all of it. It's the smells of the inks and the glues and everything else that goes into it. Just for me is sort of a complete package. So,
I mean,
I think
I
the
like
reason
hardcovers
why-
too. They're called like library editions. So it's like when you get one of those, you put it on your shelf. It's like, I don't just have a comic, I have a book. I'm literate. Makes you feel very proud of yourself.
I already felt literate.
This is a new feeling for me,
Yeah.
personally.
I think it's one of the reasons I'm not huge on like ebooks personally,
Mhm.
just because I like to actually hold the book in my hand. Plus, two, it's easier to lay in bed and like lay on your side and have a book than it is an ebook. They just keep, anyway.
It's better for your eyes too.
Yeah, the glare
Yeah.
of it. And then I did have actually a couple of questions about your merchandising.
Oh boy.
And how you guys have chosen what perks
Sure.
go along with everything. I'm assuming I like you've got the standees, you had the plushies for the Black Hops, but for this you had the statue, and the standees, and I feel like and the masks, which are all
Yes.
really cool. So how do you go about deciding what you were going to do?
Basically, so Mark and I have merchandising experience just from working together for a decade, working on odds and ends for different licenses. So our minds are constantly in kind of a retail mode. But the problem with the retail mode is that there are some things that are just above your pay. It's things that are extremely expensive. In order to get the best deal, you have to mass produce them past what your budget will allocate. So we're always kind of thinking of new things to come up with. And then the thought had occurred to me with the masks, because we had 2 people. I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently like cosplayers, they'll be very polite. And especially if it's a character that's not commonly known, they'll ask you for permission to cosplay as that character. My guess is so that if they end up selling like photos or something later on, then there won't be any legalities involved with there. So then it occurred to me as I was talking to one of them, that masks are something that I have not seen too often in a lot of crowdfunding campaigns. And so immediately we went to work doing our research, trying to find out how to get them done and whatnot. And we were referred to 2 mask manufacturers who are both retired on the same time, like at the same year. So they're older. And the advice they gave is they said, look, you can mass manufacture something, but the reality is if you want the quality, you're going to go with leather. So then the hunt began for leather mask manufacturers, and they're out there. And luckily, they're all in the United States. So that's kind of how that went about. And then statues, again, that kind of was an offshoot of looking at figure making. Very, very, very expensive. I mean, if you want to get your figures down to a price point per unit that's cheap, you're still having to invest like $30,000 into the manufacturing of them. So just to give it a trial run, we just went with a sculptress who did a run of 8 for us, and they were not cheap. They were extremely expensive because she 3D models them, she prints them, sands them, varnishes them, and hand paints every single one. But that gave us kind of a taste for if this was something we did in the future, what would be demand for it. And those 4 statues that we had offered, they sold out within 2 minutes, despite the fact that it was a price point that we've never done before. We've never done a $400 price point. But, you know, hopefully we sold people on it, and that thing sold out like really quick. And that's still the number one question I get is, hey, can I still buy the statue like individually? It's like, no, because I mean, she made 8. We sold 4, and that's it. I mean, it took her about 4 months to make them. I've had her working on them since at least August, September. So that's kind of how we decided. And then now for the next 2 campaigns, we're already in that mode of thinking, what can we offer that we haven't offered yet? So we're always open to ideas.
That lenticular poster is really cool too.
Yes.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I took your GIF and I kind of cut out screenshots of it. But
oh, cool.
like a picture of those from. That is really neat too. I did have one request for you guys as far as merch goes.
Sure.
Which was wall scrolls. Apparently, I have been told that weebs love wall scrolls.
Are those still a thing? I remember them being huge when I was in high school, which is 1999. I didn't know people still collected
They
those.
are still a thing. I have been assured that they are. And yes, and he wants a wall scroll.
That would be fun.
So.
I know Brian Ball makes them, and in fact, I got one from him from his store. So that would be definitely something to look for. I know that the modern wall scrolls, they use magnets to attach them, so they're actually pretty neat. I just don't know what that would do as far as like the postal service is concerned. If that would set anything off.
I don't know. I have no idea. But you guys do T-shirts. I don't know what it's not. Can you get that through the Iconic Comics site? Is there a link on there, or do you?
It's actually sold through Nito Shop. So if you click on if you just do a search for Nito Shop Ninja Ink, you'll see kind of a full category, a library of just random designs I've done, and it's listed in there.
Yeah, you need to make that more visible too. No offense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to find your merch in between campaigns is kind of difficult.
Oh, it's hard. It's really tough, especially since that obviously Iconic Comics is its own thing. So even though they do our fulfillment, we have an agreement in terms of what they can sell. And for the most part, we don't get a cut of it. That's how they get paid, is that they basically have our merchandise that went unsold, and it's reserved for them so that they can make some of their profit through those sales. And between them and between some of our outlying products like the T-shirts, I mean, it is really hard. And then we have, for the first time, like a licensing agreement with an artist friend of ours named Scribbles, and she sells like official charms. And again, we don't make any money off of that. That's all her. So anything that she sells,
I've seen those. Those are really cute.
Yes, they are. And for people who like the designs, they don't have to worry, because it's one of the gifts that you get for backing our book. We have a little something that everyone's gonna get.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
Always something. You guys always do something special.
We try to. I mean, it's not shooting for the moon, but we hope that people enjoy like the little tiny things that we include in there.
I always have.
Aw.
No. No, seriously. And then you guys will be launching on Indiegogo approximately when? Do you have a date for that yet?
Tim?
For Indiegogo, we're not going to be launching until the fulfillment of this campaign is fully finished. So right now, tentatively, we're looking at probably the 2nd or 3rd week of March, if everything goes as planned. So far, we've had very, very smooth fulfillments, but there are days where I'm kept awake because I'm waiting on like the one piece of art or the piece of merchandise that is still wrapped up in the postal system or things of that nature. So we don't launch Indiegogo campaigns until we have mailed out at least the first book in the Kickstarter fulfillment. So right now we're aiming for March. I actually put in our orders for the books today. So right now, I think the turnaround time is 22 to 28 days. So that gives us a really good window to have everything here by the first week of March so that we can begin the fulfillment.
Excellent. Very cool. I feel like Dean's not saying anything. Dean and Mark
No,
aren't
I'm
talking
actually,
at all.
I'm just listening. I
I'm
feel like I'm
sorry.
part of the audience.
I was listening to Tim's pretentious story about how, like, oh, so I was tooling around Europe when I was sitting in a Parisian bistro, and I noticed these hardcover graphic
There was a
novels.
patisserie.
Ooh, pardon me, Pierre.
Mark, go to the boulangerie. Pick up the café au lait, s'il vous plaît.
Hey, I know what that means because it was in a Ninja Turtles cartoon.
What, boulangerie?
Yeah, boulangerie is a bakery, right?
There used to be a chain store bakery. I remember, I don't know if it ever got past California, that was La Petite Boulangerie, and you went in and got fresh baguettes and croissants and stuff.
Mm.
Delicieux.
Yeah, the little things.
I want to hear from Dean.
I want to
Yeah,
hear
well,
from Dean.
actually, if you don't mind, Vicky,
I don't mind at all, Dean. Why don't
I
you
have a game for you two.
Oh no.
It's a trivia game, and it involves anime questions, manga questions, and like one random question that's kind of just geared towards Mark, but it's a competition.
And also one point that only Mark can win.
Yes, it's a competition between you two called Not So Common Knowledge.
Okay.
Oh,
I know.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think it's 5 questions for you guys, and then once I'm done with the question, you don't have to wait to hear the options. But it's multiple choice. You can just blurt out the answer if you know it. If you don't, I mean, I guess I suggest
Waiting.
guessing one of the options.
I feel like this is a lose-lose proposition. If we win, we end up sounding like major weebs. If we lose, well, we lose.
I'm just gonna answer Goku for all of them.
Well, I mean, you can't both lose. I guess it's possible for you to
You
both
can't
lose.
both. Just watch us, Dean.
Yeah, I'll prove you wrong.
All right. So, the first question for you guys is what was the first published written manga? A. Mega Man, B. Sazai-san, or C. Astro Boy?
Astro Boy?
Astro Boy?
Oh man, Mark got it first.
Dang it.
Gosh.
I don't even know what Sazai-san is.
Sazai is
neither.
the longest running anime, or the longest running animated series in the world. Shut up, Pierre. Go back to your boulangerie.
All right, question number 2. What year did Fantastic Funnies, which is known as the first modern comic book, get released? A. 1920, B. 1930, or C. 1933?
1933.
1920.
It was 1933. Man, Mark is killing it.
He's
Ugh,
kicking your ass, Tim.
I know. That's why he's the writer.
And then I just don't even feel fair about this one. Geez, what company was the first publishing company to publish Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Mirage.
Mirage Studios.
We'll
I-
call that one a
A
tie.
tie.
Yeah.
And then, man, this one's just not even fair. I threw this question in for Mark just because I felt like you'd be doing really well, Tim.
Oh boy. Sorry to get your hopes up.
What was the first episode of The Simpsons called? A.
Simpsons roasting over an open fire.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Jeez, holy cow.
And then
I'm so lonely, you guys.
the last
You're the first people I've talked to all month.
the last question. This is really tight-necked competition. So last question is, what year was the first colored Japanese anime feature film called, which is known as Tale of the White Serpent, released? 1947, 1952, or 1958?
1952.
No,
Oh,
1958.
yeah.
I guessed that
Oh,
one
you
wrong
see, we
too.
both can lose. It's true.
Yeah, we both lost. Horrible. Now, DA, here's the question: did you know the answers to these?
No, no, no. I was just trying to come up with a cool, fun game for this.
He wanted to take up some time.
Ah, I see.
Oh.
But yeah, so yeah, congratulations, Mark. You have bragging rights. You can
Such as
say,
they are.
actually, also on the same side, like on the other side of things, Tim, congratulations. You can say that you do things with your time.
The hell he does. He has to draw a page a day. He's cooped up in front of his drawing board for like.
He's not even
12
getting paid, I hear.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
forgot
gotta pay my
my
artist.
artist again.
Yeah, myself. I don't pay myself.
Do you guys ever feel like you're kind of constrained by the universe you've created here, or do you feel like it's still just growing and getting bigger?
Oh no, we have like at least 12 volumes already planned out.
Yeah, we're just getting started. I mean, so for Common America, I mean, technically only 2 volumes have been published and released to the public. Right now, I'm writing volume 4. I'd actually just finished past the halfway point on the first draft of volume 4. And then I already wrote Black Ops X Common America, which comes out in the summer, the big crossover book. So, I mean, we've got a lot of material and a lot of room to grow. So, yeah, we don't feel confined, at least not yet.
And I already finished, as of yesterday, I've already finished half of that book. So we're already halfway done with Black Ops X Common America. So at this rate, I should be done by the end of February, and then I'll start on Common America 4. So I should be done with that by April, I think, if everything goes as planned. So we're going to be way ahead of ourselves, and hopefully we can just keep the momentum going.
Just don't give
You guys
yourself
are
an
just-
ulcer again.
Oh my gosh, we just talked about that before the stream started. Guess what? I'm having symptoms again.
You need to just slow down. We're already way ahead, Tim. You know,
I took Sunday off. I was not feeling good yesterday at all. You can ask my wife. I pretty much just spent the whole day in bed. My
it's
insides
not a
were
race. You just need to get
so
3.
I was so crazy the whole day.
You
guys-
only need to draw 3 volumes a year, Tim. You don't need to finish them all up in April.
I was about to say, I thought you guys were only releasing the 3 books this year. So
We are. Tim's just a masochist.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel bad if I don't finish a page a day. Like I feel like I've let myself down.
As
What are you
a
gonna do?
customer, it inspires a lot of confidence to know that like the project is already finished.
Yeah, it's fully done. I mean, really, as soon as the quote unquote campaign, the pre-orders launch, I mean, everything is finished.
I mean, you are way too ahead of time, Tim. But but like the project, like the current project, to know that it's already done is just like there's no fear that you won't get it, and I think that's what's really great.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people know that. They're so used to other forms of crowdfunding where they're having to wait for a long time. And we see this on Kickstarter, for example, because Kickstarter, they don't take your information until after it's over. And so we ask people to fill out their surveys. And some of these people, the only thing that I can see from my point of view, because I don't look at the backer info, I let Iconic Comics and Fulfillment take a look at that. But the one thing I can see is when people message me, I can see how many projects they've backed, because it will typically say, you know, Joe so-and-so super backer has backed X number of projects. But typically the reason I'm getting those messages is because the super backers are like, hey, I just filled out my survey. And I'm like, yeah, but that was for Common America 1 that came out January of last year. And their reply is like, yeah, but I'm so used to just backing stuff and just basically treating it as an investment and just never having them ever come out. That I just assume that all the comics are like that too. I'm like,
Oh,
no, if you
that's
read very
sad.
carefully, that's not how it is.
Yeah. That's actually kind of sad that like that's what they're used to.
Yeah, especially for comics, because like on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, I've backed some tech projects, and the stuff that I've backed typically comes out on time. Like it's pretty punctual. You know, you might be like a month or two late, but they keep you abreast in terms of where the research and development and production and stuff are going. So I haven't had any major hiccups. Comics, though, I have. I mean, there's one in particular where I asked for a refund twice, and each time, luckily, the writer or the project head has been polite enough to basically say, hey, I know how it is, but trust me, this book is coming out in November. And then this book is coming out in December. And then last I heard, which was like a week ago, they were like, hey, this book is going to be in stores. And I'm like,
I got that
yeah, but I
one.
don't care if it's in stores. I basically backed like $150 tier. That's not part of any type of contractual agreement between the customer and the creator have made, if it's contractual at all. I think in the terms of service, it's not. But I'm like, this is just a lesson learned where it's like, forget it. I'm never supporting this creator again, just because like that's not how you treat it.
I got that update, and actually, that creator blocked me on Twitter a few months ago when I asked him how far along in the book he was.
Oh boy. Yeah, don't do that too. That's not good.
Yeah. So,
And
because we had actually talked about that months and months ago. We had
it's just
discussed that. Yeah.
I mean, I think the book looks good, but again, there is that element of customer creator relationship that you have going on. I'm hesitant to call it customer service because I think when you're looking at the arts, there's a very gray area between the two, but there has to be some degree of respect that exists there. And I just feel like we've had two pretty cordial talks about it. I was pretty much assuaded that it would be okay, and then here we are going to 2021. It's like all that stuff that you told me last year, like you never held to that at all. So I don't know. I think even if I ask for a refund now, I think it's a lost cause, but it's just $150 lesson learned.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the smaller creators now that aren't Comicsgate are doing that, where their books are done or almost done, ready to go to print before they start their campaigns. Skinny did it, even though he's running late, but I think that was I think that's like COVID related shutdown stuff that's delaying him.
Vestry
did it. I just got my Saving the World 3
yes
by Tonic Mole. I just got that in the mail today, which is really cool. I like that, believe it or not, I actually kind of like the paper dolls. I don't want to cut it up though. Like, I don't want to cut the sheets up because it just looks so pretty. But those paper dolls were pretty cool. I still say wall scrolls, but yeah, that was pretty neat. But a lot of them are going with, following your lead, basically.
Yeah,
I mean, I've gotten some. So last year, I got fulfilled a couple of the crowdfunds that I supported, comics ones, and they were from people who are outside my circle. I think I've had ones inside my circle. Like I picked up Earthworm Jim launched the cow last year, and it came right on time, and it's great. And I know that Doug's going to fulfill Fight the Fish in February, so that one's on the way. But I mean, last year I supported John Celestri, who is a Canadian animator from Nelvana, the guy who animated Boba Fett. He did a portfolio release of his career, of his work, and that arrived right on time. The digital copy arrived with no DRM or anything; just that came right on time. And then the physical copy came. So who else? Oh yeah, Jim Lawson, who's an old Mirage Ninja Turtle artist from back in the day. He did a book last year called I got it right here, the Box City Wallops, and it also came with an Ashcan Ninja Turtle comic, a brand new one that he drew, and that one arrived right on time, right when it was supposed to, when he said it would. No, I mean, there are a lot of comic creators, ones who are outside of our circles, who are just doing their job and taking it seriously and fulfilling their promises and getting everything out on time. It's not I don't think that it's the norm for these books to be months or sometimes years late. I think that's just an individual problem, an individual, lack of professionalism, lack of courtesy for certain people. But the majority of people doing these online, these crowdfund comics on Indiegogo and Kickstarter do take it seriously, do respect their customers, and do get their work out on time. And the majority of the ones that I've supported have all been good experiences.
Yeah, for the most part, I've had really good experiences with just a few exceptions, and those few exceptions, not too coincidentally, sort of started at the same time as the indie creators in Comicsgate, right? So the only ones that I've had that were really bad experiences that have been really late were all early Comicsgate books. And I actually stopped backing quote Comicsgate books quite a while ago, and it totally changed my my experience with creators on Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Did it change for the better?
It changed for the better.
Good.
I've
Yeah,
only had good
it
experiences.
well,
Yeah.
that's because you've backed Tim and Mark and Doug TeNapel.
Yeah, only
I've
good
only ever
experiences.
Yeah, I've only ever asked for a refund once on an Indiegogo comic. I won't say who. Only ever did it once because it was late and the person wasn't being very nice. And, surprise, surprise, the person wasn't being very nice. I asked for a refund. They gave me the refund, but they called me an asshole. As they gave me the refund. So, yeah, I've
It's
only
so
ever had
weird.
that happen once.
It's so weird that you're the asshole when they're the ones who isn't
I,
like they're not giving you the product that
you
you've
know, I,
given money.
I didn't even complain when I requested the refund because it was after the point where the Indiegogo closed, so you couldn't just hit a refund button. You had to email the person and personally request the refund. And I was very polite, and I just said, "Can I please get a refund? Here's my backer number. Here's the amount that I pledged." And the person just like went off on me, for requesting a refund. And I didn't take the bait. I just went, please send me a refund. Here is my backer. I repeated the information, and then they gave me a refund, called me an asshole, and that was the end of that. But yeah, that's the only negative experience I've had doing crowdfunding for comics. And I've got some that are on the way that I'm really looking forward to. I've got Flork of Cows put out these little dungeon sock action figures of his weird sock puppet
Those are
characters.
cool.
I know. I got
Cool.
one that I think is going to come this month, and I'm looking forward to that just because those things are so funny. I love his comics. There's that one Japanese artist named Diva who does the little nuns, the nuns and duck drawings that you probably see all over
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a he or a she, but I backed their collected edition like the first year or so of all those drawings. I'm really looking forward to that, and that's coming all the way from Japan, but it's already fulfilling. Let's see. Then I got Fresher Luke's book, Forsaken Gods. We're looking forward to that. He's been really good
Me
about
too.
updating people. Yeah, he's been sending like art and updates every week since he started.
Yeah.
There's one. Oh yeah, and then there's Fight the Fish, which is coming out in February. So, I mean, I'm having good experiences with all the people I've been backing. There was just that one time where things weren't good.
I'm so mad that you never told me about the Little Nuns.
I found
book.
out literally the last hour. I don't know how I didn't know because I follow that person
Same
on
here. They
Twitter.
like never advertised it.
No, they pinned it to their profile. I only found out when I checked out their profile to look for like little nun strips I had missed. And I saw it pinned there. I was like, what? There's a collected edition? And I clicked on it. It's like 1 hour left.
I'm still
It's
mad that you
typing
didn't
really
tell
fast.
me.
You
Because when I
should
looked
have
at it, I
got.
was like, what?
You should have gotten one for Tim and then just sent it. He would have gotten it.
I know, right? I should have changed my order to
Should've.
2.
No, what a jerk.
Well,
I know.
I bet if they do a volume 2, they'll have a reprint of volume 1. And if they don't, well, I'm sorry.
But here, okay, so this actually ties into the thing that Dean was just talking about. So you have Little Nuns, and it's a Japanese artist. Now, here's the thing about the Japanese. So I commission a lot of the Japanese artists for Common America. Their business model, I had to warn one of them. I was like, I think what you guys are doing is insane. You need to watch out if you have an American hire you, because the way that they do it, at least with all the Japanese artists that I've worked with so far, they do the work first, deliver it to you, and then you pay them. And it's just because of the trust system. They just
Honor
assume
system. Oh,
that you're
yeah.
honest and that they're going to do the work and you're going to pay them. That's how it's been for every single one I've done. If you take a look at Little Nuns, the work is done. Like, it's already, you can look at every strip that they've done in the year. It's just like, okay, this is just a book. You know the book is coming out because all the work is already finished out there. And it's just a matter of getting it compiled and sent out. But I was thinking about what you were saying about the refunds. Like, I think for Common America 2, I got like 4 refund requests, and each of them were just, hey, I just need a refund. And then, you know, I go in and I can manually process it after the campaign is over. But our policy is we don't ask people why. I think that's a bit insensitive because, for example, if Vicky, you were to ask me, hey, I need a refund on this, I wouldn't even second guess it because I'm like, it's not any of my business. If you're mad at me, that's fine. I don't know about it, but that's okay. I'm guessing if you don't want to disclose that, it's not in my position to ask. But for all I know, maybe you have like a veterinary bill. Like maybe your dog is sick and you need the money at the last minute. I am not in the position
I mean, maybe it's something really embarrassing, like, why do you want a refund, man? Explain yourself. Like, well, I was, making breakfast naked and I slipped and I tripped and my pig landed on the butcher's knife and now I got to get a testicle transplant. I
Yeah,
need the
this
money,
is
please.
why he's the writer.
Yeah, exactly. So I just don't ask. And then I think one person gave me, actually it was the opposite. They gave me a really long explanation. It's like, hey, here's why I'm asking for a refund. I just replied and I said, I don't want to sound rude, but it doesn't matter. Like, I don't need an explanation. I would have just given you one anyway. And it's like, oh, that was embarrassing. Yeah. I was like, no, don't worry, because I won't disclose the reason why either. That's not, well, as far as like.
Now that you say that, it's like I would have never thought that, like, it is kind of like messed up if people ask, like, it's kind of like not anyone's business. If someone wants a refund, they should get one. There could be like a number of reasons. Yeah,
of course, within due reason. I mean, like, if you're 8 months in, then you ask for a refund, we're like, that book sucked, give me a refund. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Now, this is again where that whole customer service thing comes in, where it's a gray area. It's like, look, I believe that there's a disciplined, ethical way of doing it, but heck, dude, you're asking for this thing. Like, I had one person who, they filled out their survey, I think on a Tuesday, and it was for Common America 1. So this guy was almost a year late. Oh, and then the next day, he was like, I haven't gotten a tracking number yet. And I'm like, dude, you are more than 10 months late on this survey. Like, that's a really rude way of, doing that. But I didn't say that. I mean, I just said, hey, it's going to be a few days to process it. But that's what kind of makes it tough. I know that, like, the SWC brothers, they talk about all the time how customer service in the artistic sphere, like, it is a very gray area because there's a very fine line where the customer and the creator can overstep their bounds. And that's hard. Like, part of that's really difficult, which is why I'm actually going to be delegating some of our customer service to the fulfillment, because I cannot answer all the messages we get for, hey, can I get another PDF? I know your message said to download it in 7 days, but we're on day 30 and I'd really like the PDF. I'm like, my gosh, like, how many of these do I have to answer?
Yeah, or hire an assistant.
Yeah. And so that's what we're going to do. Is I told the lady over there, I said, we're going to pay you X amount, and if you don't mind, I'd like you to take over customer service for 31 days after the campaign, just so we can focus on doing other work and not having to deal with some of the repetition that we get.
I can understand that. They've been great over at Iconic Comics. So from everything I've seen, your fulfillment runs really, really well. And they're new to it, aren't they? I mean, this is not. They're new to the whole fulfillment thing themselves, right?
Yes and no. So the people who run it, they're entrepreneurs. So pretty much their whole lives, they practically live in a gig economy where they've just mastered the art of doing odd jobs. By coincidence, the guy, he used to work for UPS when he was in his 20s. So he had spent several summers packaging products and knowing things like weight class and the cheapest way of sending things, the most expensive way of sending things, the best bubble wrap to use, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we kind of lucked out into that by having
there's a better kind of bubble wrap.
There is. So if you think about it, you have the type of bubble wrap that we're used to, where you have a lot of bubbles on a single sheet. But the problem with them is that they're not as thick. You have to have a lot of that sheet to pad something, whereas you can get the bubble wrap where the bubbles are fairly huge, like the size of $50, and it seems more expensive, but you're actually getting a better deal per square foot because you're having
bigger bubbles means you're just paying for more air.
That's exactly what you're
Ripping you
doing.
off. Well, the reason I trust Iconic Comics is because their mascot is this little wiener dog named Slinky, who just celebrated his 20th birthday today.
It's a she.
Her 20th birthday, my bad. And she's this little old wiener dog that they have to push around in a stroller, a little baby stroller, and she just pokes her little gray muzzle out and she barks at people, but it's like an old dog bark that's like, I love that dog.
I like little wiener dogs.
They really have. That's a real story. Like,
yeah, that's the truth. They
oh wow.
Yeah, they love that little wiener dog, that little Slinky. That dog's great.
I'm actually allergic to them. They make me break out in a rash.
It's
But they're one of my favorite breeds. Yeah.
Is it because of their dander?
You can be
think
allergic
so.
to like specific breeds.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
Right? Who knew?
Oh, Captain
Chow.
Manning in the comments just said that even the friggin' shipping box from Iconic Comics is nice. Tim, you're the one who came up. Well, you're the one who stole the idea for the Iconic Comics box.
We did. We stole the idea from Doug to Naple.
Yeah, I have noticed that the boxes are pretty similar.
Yeah. Now his are nicer though, because they're definitely custom, inside and outside. He has full printing. We can't afford full printing, so we put everything onto the front of the box and trying to make it look as nice as possible.
No, it was really cool when I got the first one, because I'd gotten the plain white boxes before, and then the big fancy box came in. It was really neat.
And we have new ones too, starting this year. I have to put that order in Wednesday. That is not going to be fun.
There we go. That's what I was trying to lead you into saying, Tim, that we're going to have a newly designed box. So even the boxes are collector's items, people. So if you got the 2020 sets of Iconic Comics of Black Hops and Common America, then you got the 2020 box. We're not doing the 2020 box again, so that's a collector's item now. You're going to get the 2021 box this year. So.
I don't think about it that way, but sure.
I know, but I make fun. But I kept my my Earthworm Jim Launch the Cow box. I keep that in the closet just because the box is so cool. I feel like I got to have that.
I have two of them because I had backed the book and then I backed the making of separately. So I actually got two of those boxes. So.
I actually held on to the box from Common America too.
Aww.
You see, you're
really
ahead of the curve. You knew it was a collector's item.
They're actually good boxes. I keep my indie comics that I haven't read yet in one of them.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And I mean, we went through at least 4 box manufacturers until we settled on one that got us the best quality for a very competitive price. And I was actually having to deal with them today because of this new order that we were having to do. And I looked at our email chain, and it was like 40 messages long, because that's how much negotiation that we do. That's a little bit of advice for the people out there who are in indie comics. You can typically, if they don't process a quote, so for example, if you go to a website, they'll typically have the quote right there where you just type in all the numbers and it'll just spit the quote out for you. Whenever they say like contact us to request a quote, that's kind of code for this is negotiable. And that's what we found like 99% of the time is they'll throw something out at you. It's like, oh, okay, this book is going to cost $3 to print. It is not going to kill you to reply to them and say, hey, we're kind of working on a budget here. We're seeing if we can get it down a little bit more. How does 275 sound? And you'd be surprised. Like they'll work with you. Might not be the number that you want, but they'll be like 290, and then you start this conversation. Now it's rough in the beginning if you've never done it before, but for people who've worked retail or have haggled, maybe if you've worked in like, I don't know, auto sales
Or
or
if you've watched Pawn Stars, then you know how it goes, right?
yeah.
Right. Or if you travel outside of the United States in certain areas of the world.
Yeah,
my
like China,
dad-
where you haggle everything.
See, I can't haggle. I remember it would be so embarrassing when I was a kid and we'd go to the store and my dad would try to haggle. And, he'd be like, this is like a grocery store. You can't do that.
99 cents for sweet peas. That's highway robbery. I'll give you 50 cents and not a penny more. Dad, please. We're starving.
It happened to us one time when we were in, I think we were in Shanghai, and Dad, by that point, we had traveled for about 3 days, and pretty much everywhere we went to, we haggled. But we were in like a shopping mall, and Dad was trying to haggle the price of like a polo. I was like, Dad, this is different. This isn't like a market. This is like legit, like corporate business. Like, there's no way you can get that price down.
When I worked at a Suncoast, the DVD stores that used to be in shopping malls, Chinese people, Tim specifically, would always try to haggle the price of the DVD. And I'm like, sir, this is not a bazaar. This is not a flea market. This is a corporate chain. You have to pay the price on the sticker. I can't change it for you. Then they'd yell at me in Chinese.
I was actually just mentioning Suncoast stores to Dean the other day. He had no idea what I was talking about.
Oh my gosh, we're so old.
I know.
DA, do you remember Blockbuster? Was that still around?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Jeez.
Yeah,
oh,
like the
man.
last two or something, probably.
And Hollywood videos.
Oh man, you must have lived in like a rich neighborhood.
No,
No, they were all over California. That was a
yeah.
I worked at a Blockbuster when I was in high school, and you wouldn't believe how many people would try to return Hollywood video tapes to Blockbuster. And like, you deserve to have to pay for this tape. I should just throw it right in the trash.
Did you tell me that people used to poop in the
Not
return
poop.
bin?
We were located. Our Blockbuster was at a strip mall, and it was right next door to a bar. So one night, the bar would get out at like 2 a.m. We got out at 1 a.m. At Blockbusters, but the bar would get out at like 2 a.m. And one night after we'd all gone home and the bar let out, some drunk guy wandered up to the return slot and puked in the return slot. And we came in the next morning, opened the door, and just that puke smell wafted all over us through the store. We're like, "Oh God, what is that?" And yeah, we found all the puke in the return box, and because I was the high school kid, I was the one who cleaned it up, and that was awful. So I'm sitting there on my hands and knees, like cleaning up puke, and these customers were coming in, and they were still like trying to argue with me about a late fee, and like I'm literally on my hands and knees, covered in puke, cleaning up all this crap, and you're arguing with me about a 50-cent late fee. So that's the thing.
Cover it. Get out.
That's not even the worst day on the job I've ever had. I worked retail for 10 years, and I had some bad days. I had a Black Friday when I worked at the Suncoast, the shopping mall. On Black Friday, so we were on the first floor. On the upper floor, right above us, was a restaurant, and the sewage line in their bathroom broke, and all the septic water like just flooded through the ceiling down into the Suncoast, got all over everything, and it came down in a nonstop torrent all day long. And it was disgusting. It was poop water coming down in a waterfall all day long. And we called up the corporate office saying, like, this is really unsanitary. We have to close everything down. They said they can't get a plumber out here until like 5 o'clock. And the corporate office said, like, you are not allowed to close on Black Friday, no matter what. You just have to make it work. And so we made ponchos out of trash bags because the poop waterfall was conveniently located between the back of the store and where the back room is, like the stock room, so and the office. So we would have to pass through that cascade of poop water back and forth all day long to get stuff from the back room. And guess what? All these like Black Friday is such a robotic, zombie-like consumerism, like consume. these thousands of people were coming into our store, smelling the poop, seeing the poop water everywhere, and they were still browsing and buying stuff. It did not deter them. We still made our bank that day for the corporate office. So, I mean, as bad as any customer service experience I might have, you know, in doing indie comics and crowdfunding, nothing compared to vomit in the drop box and the poop waterfall at Suncoast. So,
Yeah, if you can survive poop waterfall.
yeah.
Oh, my only bad retail experience wasn't even retail. I was working retail, and I was in the back stock room. It was a clothing store at the mall when the Loma Prieta earthquake hit.
The
And I
what?
was the big earthquake in San Francisco, the one that lit the marina on fire and caused the bridge to break and caused
That was
the
91, I think.
it was a long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like everything went dark. And there's these shelves that went up like really high towards the ceiling, and they were just filled with boxes, and all I could imagine was those things coming down on me. Yeah, it was scary. The best one though was I was in an earthquake driving across the Golden Gate Bridge once.
Oh
And
my
there was an
gosh.
earthquake, and as in the bridge started swaying, it was so fucking cool. I'm like, oh, this is pretty awesome.
Awesome, we're gonna
It was
die.
yeah, it was pretty fucking cool. I'm like,
I've only been in an earthquake once in my life, and it was terrifying. And it was really it was like 2 on a Richter scale. It was 9 in the morning. I was just laying in bed, and it was like the ground dropped, and I was like, "What the heck?" And then my host family was like, "Oh, it's an earthquake." I was just like, "What? It's just an earthquake." It's like, "Yeah, we had them a couple of times. You know, it's no big deal." It's like, "Oh my god."
yeah, you can kind of hear the bigger ones. You can kind of hear them coming. Like it sounds almost like a train, but it happens really fast and loud, and then everything shakes, and then it's over.
I'm still
day you're
stuck
gonna
on
be
poop
like-
waterfalls.
I lived in Northern Virginia where we don't have earthquakes, except one time. It was the only earthquake we ever had in Virginia, at least in my lifetime. And it was like so minor, Vicky would laugh at it and call everybody a loser. But I was working at Best Buy at the time, and I was out on the floor, and I was on the hydraulic lift. We call it Big Joe because that was the brand name. So I was on the hydraulic lift in the middle of the store, like getting a big screen TV down, and then everything just started like rumbling, like back and forth. And at first, like it was so light, it felt more like a train was passing by. You know, we don't have earthquakes in Virginia, so like at first you didn't really know what it was. I just remember this one woman in the Best Buy. Immediately, as soon as it started rumbling, she just went into hysterical screaming fits, and she could not be consoled or calmed down. She's like, ah, and she would not stop. And she's just like screaming and screaming and screaming. And like everybody was more just like confused, like, huh, what? Why is it rumbling? Why is everything vibrating? And then this one woman just keeps shrieking and shrieking and shrieking. It's like Airplane, where somebody had to go up and smack her in the face to get her to stop.
You know, when I was really little, my dad was stationed on Guam, and so we all lived there for a few years, and that's like constant tectonic activity. You know?
Man, holy cow.
Yeah. So you kind of got used to that. California was quiet after that.
And the Japanese have it bad. I mean, whenever they have an earthquake, it's like doomsday. It always knocks down their skyscrapers, or they get like a tsunami. It's like, how is that archipelago just? So how does it still exist? It's like all of Mother Nature just seems to like concentrate its fury on Japan. It must be like revenge for hentai or something. I don't know.
I noticed that got a chuckle out of Dean.
Yeah.
He's the he knows about hen.
Yeah.
Any joke involving hentais.
It's
Well,
gonna
none of
get-
your trivia questions involved hentai. I mean, you could have like asked me a whole bunch of like La Blue Girl and Bible Black questions, and I'd have aced that even better than I already did.
The
But
fact that you named Bible Black, I'm just
I'll have you know that when I worked at Suncoast, we had a hentai section, which I had to stock and keep alphabetized and maintain. I did a really good job, by the way, But yeah, we had a hentai section. It was really gross. Here's a quick story. So one day there was this guy. He must have been like 50 something, balding, like gray haired guy. He came in and he spent probably 4 hours in the hentai section, meticulously picking up each DVD, reading the back of it, inspecting the screenshots on it. And finally, after 4 hours, he came up to the front desk and he had just a huge, like giant pillar of stacked hentai DVDs that were all, in those clear plastic security clamshell cases so people couldn't steal them. And he brought this huge stack of hentai DVDs up to us to check out. And so we unlocked each hentai case and scanned it. And the total came to, I think it was $1,015 because it was Suncoast. So Suncoast DVDs, 2004, one DVD at Suncoast cost like $39.99. That's why they went out of business, because they cost so much. And this guy bought like a huge stack. He bought over $1,000, but it came out to $1,015. And after I rang up, the guy was like, no. And so he took the top one off the stack and said, take this one back. And so I erased it from his order. I was like, okay, it's $985. I was like, okay, that's better. And then he gave me a card and he walked out with $985 worth of Japanese cartoon porn. I think he had like a limit on his credit card of probably like $1,000, so he had to do it just under that.
What?
Yeah.
How much?
Yeah,
like, even if it wasn't hentai, how much porn do you need?
I'm wondering if maybe he was because he wasn't buying them cheap. I mean, Suncoast is the most expensive place at the time to buy a DVD. He was buying it at like the absolute maximum MSRP. I think he was probably flipping them to underage kids for like twice the price. Like, hey kid, you want Bible Black? I can give it to you for $55. How about a Rotsuki Doji Legend of the Overfiend? Just $64.
My dad used to buy all of our laser discs at Suncoast.
Laser discs, yeah.
Day. Yeah, that was like one of the only places you could buy them.
One of my coworkers, because I was working there when Star Wars first came out on DVD, so I guess that was 2004, right, when they finally did that. And one of my coworkers, she had a Laserdisc system, and she was one of the first people that any of us knew who also had like a DVD-R writer. So she was transferring all of her Laserdiscs onto writable DVDs, and so she made me DVD-Rs of the original Star Wars trilogy, like the pre-special edition versions. The old Laserdiscs at the time were like the best copies you could get, and I still have those, and those are still the ones that I watch. I've never actually bought a legitimate version of Star Wars on DVD or Blu-ray or anything. I don't want to watch the stupid Jedi Rock song and dance number. I don't want to see crappy CG Jabba the Hutt or any of that crap. So I still watch those like DVD-Rs of the Laserdisc she gave me back in 2004.
Yeah, I've never watched the ones with the CGI Jabba the Hutt in them either.
I remember when I saw those in 2000 when they were in. I
like
thought
the special editions.
Yeah,
those are like the ones when they came out in the theater was like 97.
Oh, 97. Yeah, you're right. I remember thinking like, wow, that Jabba the Hutt looks so cool. When you rewatch it, you're like, wow, that looks really fake.
It looks terrible.
But we have hit an hour.
We have hit the hour.
We have hit an hour. I thank you guys so very much. Dean's been dropping the link. So has Cider Heights been dropping the link to the Kickstarter in the chat all night.
Captain Manning.
And Captain Manning. And Cider. Yay. Our
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
It's in the description if you missed it. Everybody go back, Common America.
Yes.
We love you readers. 1 and 2 were fabulous, and I expect that 3 is going to be even better.
I think 3 is going to be the best.
If we're not,
well, just for people who aren't familiar with Kickstarter, or so we're using the add-on system, which is brand new. So if you want the extra things like the Common America 1 and 2 hardcover reprints, the Velvet Thunder soundtrack CD, and the Henshin poster. When you select your backing tier, the next page has an a la carte list of add-ons of those things, and you can just pick the ones you want and add them to your order, and then you go to checkout. So it's a brand new thing that Kickstarter is doing, so people just kind of have to like get used to it.
Yeah, but you can go. The one nice thing about Kickstarter that you can't do with Indiegogo, and I get why, because you're paying at the end, is you can go in and you can change your pledge at any time. To add onto that stuff. So even if you've already gone and made your purchase and missed the add-on thing, it's not too late to go and do that.
Yep. And for
Mark,
everybody else out there who say what?
I'm glad that you explained how the add-on works.
He did a whole stream about it.
Yeah.
I did. Well, I did a whole stream about it, but because I was writing Common America 4, and that's all I was thinking about, I actually named the stream the Common America 4 stream. Like, oh god, stupid. It was the Common America 3 one.
But it's over on the Bunderdome in case anybody has any questions. Mark tells you everything you need to know about how the add-on system at Kickstarter works.
And then I talk about Ninja Turtles because that's always how my streams end. It all devolves into Ninja Turtles somehow.
It's always Ninja Turtles. When you did I missed the end of your live stream that you were testing out
the
your new
webcam test.
cam.
Yeah,
the Goblin stream. Did you end up talking about?
I did end up talking. So if I can figure out a way to. So maybe you can tell me, if I use a webcam, can I also use my headset for audio, or is it just one or the other?
Well, yeah, you can.
I can? Okay, maybe
Yeah.
I'll test that out, because like the webcam was working, it's just the audio sounded like I was, talking into a tin can, or I was like really muffled.
Part of it might be your headset, because there's something wrong with it. It's making that static noise
I
occasionally.
thought that was just me. I was
No,
like,
it's Mark.
No,
That's
it's
why I
Mark.
didn't say anything, because Mark already knows it's an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a Logitech headset that I got from Best Buy for like $40. So,
Dude, get the is it Bluetooth or is it just the normal one that you plug in?
it's the USB one.
Oh, so mine I bought for $20 at Walmart, and it's what I've been using this whole time. Wait.
Wait,
I think I made Mark feel bad. It's like, man,
you
got
did.
problems,
I have
dude.
buyer's remorse now.
Yeah.
I've spent $200 on this thing.
I was gonna say, Dean, you had that webcam, and then now you don't use it.
Hey, you just turned into a robot right now, Tim. That's on your $20 Walmart headset that you're bragging about.
That's probably internet.
Yeah.
Internet.
Dean went and spent. Dean's got to have the Prima set up.
So why is he not?
Once
why
I'm
is he
done
using the
setting
camera?
everything up, it's a slow buy, right? And once it's all bought, man, you guys will see. It'll be nice.
Oh, because I saw your stream that you were live.
Wait, what?
You did a stream or you did a video and you had your camera on.
Yeah, that was the exposed video on you.
Yeah, but how come you're not using it now?
Oh, well, it's because I'm just not ready to use it.
You're naked.
No, I just don't have like
You're
proper lighting.
topless. I know.
It's a whole thing, and also like I'd have to. It's a thing. I will start using it in about like a month.
A year.
A month.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Then he's got to find a hat.
I already have
He needs
hats.
a
I got like
haircut.
20.
But he has to find just the right one to wear underneath his headphones.
Huh. You know what? That's a good point.
Yeah, I know. I've got him down, I think.
I need the perfect hat.
Well, when I saw that, I was glad that it's a change of pace from seeing like man, it doesn't sound really mean. It's a nice change of pace from seeing like really overweight dudes like who probably shouldn't even be on camera, but again, that's me being ugly, so I apologize.
There's a lot of them.
I appreciate that though.
Yeah, Dean's a good looking guy. I was
Thank
just
you.
like, man, he's a sharp dressed dude.
He is. He's got those pretty green eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are making me blush.
I know.
Aw, gee whiz, fellers.
Guys.
Anyway, enough about Dean. Because this is supposed to be all about your guys' book and you too. So, but thank you so very much for coming by and joining
thanks
us
for
this
having me.
evening. Of
Yeah, thank you.
course.
Absolutely.
And
And for
many-
people who don't know, there is a character in the book named Vicky, and she is named after the Vicky, with just one difference, which is the slight misspelling or different spelling of her name.
That's because my mom was just weird.
No, I remember there's Vicky. There's Vicky. There's Vicki. There's Vikki. So you're bound to get it. It's all right. I don't think there's a wrong way to spell it.
No, I was
Except for how Vicky spells it.
except for how I spell it. Yeah, I've actually stopped. I stopped caring by the time I was 11. How people spelled Vicky, because they always got it. I worked for one guy for 6 years, and he misspelled my name the entire time.
Aww.
Yeah, I was born in Japan when my dad was in the service, and because there's no equivalent to C, my mother thought it'd be cute if I didn't have a C in Vicky. So there you go.
It turned out to just be inconvenient.
It just turned out to be inconvenient for my entire life.
It's still the same name, not any cuter, just more inconvenient.
Convenient.
The good thing is that people will always at least pronounce it the right way. They're not going to be like Vikai.
That's true. I don't. But why would they do that to begin with?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like you'll have a name that's like a common name, like let's say like Peter, and they'll spell it like Pietre. It's like, what, Pietra? It's like it's pronounced Peter. It's like, well, why'd you spell it that way?
But no, people have mispronounced my name.
Oh my gosh, that's on them. It's not on you.
No, it's not
That's
on
okay.
me. It's okay.
I knew a guy who named his son Kal-El, and I was like, I want to beat your son up, and he's just a baby.
But no, it meant a lot to me that you guys did that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Well, we like to reward some of the people that we've met who have been pretty steadfast these last few years. Cheyenne, she gets a mention in the book too. Being from PA, she's not actually in this one, but she was. So no, at this point, we were actually new to the comic sphere. We had done conventions for a while, but it's really hard to actually make friends in that sphere of influence. So some of the people that have toughed it out with us these last 4 years, we try to reward them. I have a short list of people that we still need to get to, but eventually we'll make it through.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative of this icon I'm using.
We do kill you off though, Dean, so no more promises.
Oh,
Oh man.
ouch.
Poor Dean.
Nobody buy. Everybody. No, I'm joking.
No, if you die in it, that makes it a key issue. So
Yeah.
people have to get that. It's like, oh, it's the death of Gwen Stacy. Oh, it's the death of Dean in Common America.
Why is Volume 3 worth so much on eBay? That's the death of Dean. Didn't you know? It's like,
Oh yeah, volume 3. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Yeah. Good business move, guys.
yeah, first appearance was in Volume 2. You gotta look really carefully. And then in Volume 3, the X.
Perfect. Well, thanks again, everybody. Thank you to the chat. And if you guys have a final pitch out.
No, I think you've done a really good job. Common America Volume 3, the pre-order will finish in days. So if you haven't picked it up, make sure to do so. At the checkout, you can add on Volumes 1 and 2 if you need to get caught up. And then after that, we move on to Black Ops X Common America, which should be debuting sometime around May of this year.
I'm so excited for the return of Black Ops too.
Oh yeah, we are too. It's been a lot of fun. And I'm gonna drop some artwork I did tomorrow. So if people follow on social media, you can be on the lookout for that.
And I did drop the official The Common America Twitter link is in the description as well.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
everybody go and follow that too.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you guys so very much. Everybody have a great week since it's Monday, and we'll see you back here on Sunday night at our regular time.
Cheers. Have a
Yeah,
good
see
one,
you
guys.
later.